Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. In the last episode we made it to the island and we managed to find the veteran. Now the one small thing that is slightly strange is we also found the phasmid, which is standing over here.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
So we can whisper? This is the Insulindian phasmid. We can say something to it, quietly, something like... Or we can just try with electrochemistry, which is quite high. +3, +1. Can I leave? Do I have anything that will increase my...
We can't just leave it standing there. We have to do something, detective. It could be connected somehow even.
You've never seen him get this excited. His voice is almost trembling.
Okay, so I can't change my outfit, so let's just try this straight away. 83%, cross your fingers.
Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the phasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Like laughter, a sort of happiness. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you.
Stand on your tiptoes and look more closely.
You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish.
It's foaming.
Careful, it may be poisonous.
The lieutenant watches you apprehensively.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one.
We can use our inland empire. Tell me, what are you doing? +1 spoke to the hanged man. +2 did not give up on the phasmid. +1 knows of parthenogenesis. If I fail 97%, I'm going to be very upset.
I exist.
Well, that was terrifying. I exist too.
Tell me what it's like for you.
If I tell you, what will happen?
Then I will tell you what it's like for me.
I'm ill.
What is your illness?
My body aches. I'm bleeding. I'm ill in my head. I'm insane. That's how it is for me. In my heart, for me, it's sadness. Input after input. Let's go with... I'm insane.
I am not. There isn't even a central nervous system in my head. Only mouth parts were eating white blood clots. Now I will tell you how it is for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist.
Intruded upon by what?
Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. A swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. All speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, So light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul. And if I did, it would never ache.
You're the type of animal I would like to be. I'm glad to be me. An incredibly sensitive instrument. The fuck is happening to me right now? Let's go with the second option here. I'm an incredibly sensitive instrument.
Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you, with all of creation reflected in your forebrain. It must be like the highest of hells, a kaleidoscope of fire and writhing glass. Eternal damnation. Even when you're sleepy, and when you wake, you carry it around on your neck, with eyes open that cannot help but swallow more behind the mirror. I feel great, mute empathy for you.
It was very disorienting at first, but I'm keeping my shit together.
That must be incredibly hard. The Arthropods are in silent and meaningless awe of you. Know that we're watching. When you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you. And when you fall, we will come to raise you up. Bud from you, banner-like, blossom from you and carry you apart in a sky funeral, in honor of your passing. But not me, because I'm just a leaf eater.
In honor of your will, Lieutenant Euphrator, that you kept from falling apart in the face of sheer terror, day after day, second by second. Detective, arriving on the scene.
I am a detective.
So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect?
The killer.
He's in a bad state, deteriorating fast now. He thinks I am beneficial to him, but I am not. I only quicken his deterioration.
You're destroying him?
Very slowly, and only because he won't go away. It is meant to keep them from noticing me, to interfere with the pictures in their heads. But he has looked at me for too long, and I am destroying him.
Is this a dream? What's happening?
No, you're awake. I am real. Light is foaming me. This is real.
Where does this come from? All this, around us. The world.
Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily.
We need to know. Perhaps it's sent to us by a god. Then all we can do is beat our fists against it, day after day, with no answer. Let's go with perhaps it was sent to us by a god. What does a phasmid think about the idea of a god?
I think we should eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Or read. Yum yum.
Okie dokie. It's not quite what I was expecting, but there. What exactly are you?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the Insulandian Insula. For the last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys. No one unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and officials of the occupation. Even the Seminoles Islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Rebelshaw, district of Martinez, March 51.
That's insane.
No, you are. The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while it is you who are a total extreme madness. A volatile simian nerve system ominously new to the planet. The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all.
This got very ominous very quickly. Wait, what is the Pale?
It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind.
I don't have that kind of power.
You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident.
But how?
We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
Worse how?
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget?
Have I always thought this way? But I want to blink and undo 12 billion years of matter expansion. I have already forgotten the whole world once, when I drank too much. I'll be extra careful not to blink, stick insect. Don't worry. Let's go with I had already forgotten the whole world once, when I drank too much.
So it is already happening. Soon, one of you will close your eyes and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
Jim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure?
It doesn't look like that, no.
What does it look like?
You're just staring at it.
Nothing, just looking at a stick insect. Everything is normal. Then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind.
Okay. Is it somehow related to the case?
The case? The case is meaningless compared to this. I have totally transcended the case. No, sort of. No, I told you what it's about. Fate. I say sort of. She did mention the man.
I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species.
I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all.
No, there is one more.
Of all the creatures I've met, you are the kindest. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the scariest. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the most beautiful. Let's go with the kindest.
Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you before you go. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. For freedom.
I will.
She was hell on earth. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Okay, Kim, take the picture. What could possibly go wrong?
Okay.
With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen before you.
Brilliant picture.
I got it.
You hear the lieutenant whisper as the creature's shape develops onto the photo paper in his hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds and the sky, and you as a shadow before it.
For all time.
Okay, so we can slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker, or we can carefully pet its scythe-like forearm. Oh, let's go with the creature's whisker. What could possibly go wrong? Oh god, it's a bad idea. Let's go with the scythe-like forearm.
The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing.
Run your hand up the slender limb, higher.
A small shudder passes the creature's arm. High above you, its black pearl eyes still glisten, mesmerized by the light passing its nervous system.
Slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish. It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
I look at my finger.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen.
I lick my finger. This seems like a terrible idea. It could be poison. Yeah, let's try
It
it.
tastes like sugar, very faint. The anthropod towers above you, tufts of reeds pointing from limb and head alike. Odorless, mostly comprised of water.
We got it. Back off.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
Let's disengage slowly. I don't think we need to raise our hand.
As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface.
And away it goes. Hey, at least we got the photo.
And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
Did the Insulindian phasmid steal the boy? Is that why I couldn't find the damn thing? Oh, for God's sake.
It's gone.
You can walk on water?
Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
What's that in the reeds?
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
What now?
What now?
The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He's put his hand into the ash. Dirty and black.
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Check these bunch of items down here first, shall we? Oh, it's the bloody helmet. And a rifle scope. What am I supposed to do with that? A common 30mm sniper scope attachable to almost any bolt-action 4.46 caliber. It uses an older style, non-dotted range-finding reticule. Seaweed is still stuck on the lens and it's suffered water damage from its time in the phasmid's dowry. And now we have the helmet. This monstrous-looking, bug-eyed ceramic helmet was in the phasmid's nest. It still has some reeds sticking out of it, and it smells of seawater, but it's otherwise wearable, if not exactly comfortable. Putting it on feels scary somehow. Is it a hat? Oh my god. Like terrifying. Unless I'm about to get shot in the head, which I don't think I am, but I guess that would be cool if I had managed to get all of the pieces. All I'm missing are the legs. I think. Yeah, I have the chest piece, the gloves, and the helmet. Yeah, I think all I'm missing is the legs, which were on the dead guy, which I didn't get. I'm assuming we need to check on the old guy. Let's quick save, because I don't want to have to do that again.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
Sir, how could you not see the phasmid?
See.
He stares at the reeds and falls silent.
Mr. Dras?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets, his gap-toothed mouth shaking with fear and longing.
Let's touch his shoulder gently.
The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem. Doesn't it, Mr. Dras?
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
We found some things in the phasmid's nest, Mr. Dras.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should.
I'm going to show him the scope.
I lost.
You lost it, Mr. Dras?
He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white stripes.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a magpie phasmid.
The lieutenant observes the lens sparkle in your hands.
This sight is a T9, Mr. Dras. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
Silence. Not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor being.
Let's show him the helmet.
Nothing. Just dull staring. Not even rage left, wherever he is.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dras could have picked it up. Or the phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
I'm going to let you rest now, Mr. Dras.
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open.
What has happened to this man?
Old age and shock.
I think it's the phasmid.
Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the phasmid. The combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke.
He couldn't see it, Kim. It's just the reeds for him. Could it be there's something hormonal in his relationship to the phasmid? I talked to the phasmid. It said it's destroying him. Or he's been here for a long time. Who knows how much of it in its company. Let's go with this. He couldn't see it.
That could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here. Mr. Dras.
He touches the man's shoulder.
No response.
Maybe this is how the phasmid has stayed hidden all these years?
Then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it.
Yeah, you forget it's there.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Dras, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds?
The old man stutters.
The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. This is a little advanced for a nurse.
Could it be there's something hormonal in his relationship to the phasmid?
You mean pheromonal?
He seemed a little off for a man his age. Randy. Oh, I'm gonna say it just to see what happens.
The scope, knowing of her bruises, his disposition toward Miss Orania. I see what you mean.
I talked to the phasmid. It said it's destroying him.
You should be more careful, detective. Are you sure it wasn't having an effect on you?
Maybe. Anyway, it's only trying to remain unseen. The degradation is a side effect.
A valid hunch. Long-term exposure to something like that could be neurodegenerative. Also, please be careful when approaching unknown species in the future, Detective.
He's been here for a long time. Who knows how much of it in its company?
He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him, like he didn't want to leave this place, and the insect maybe.
He looks at his notebook.
I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo.
No one would believe you without it.
Hang tight.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here, if we don't take too long.
Should we not take him back with us? I feel like this is a terrible idea. Oh, well, let's see if we can get back to the mainland. I'm going to put my gun away now. It's been walking around with a gun in my hand this whole time. Good thing that didn't influence the phasmid. Right, so where do we park the boats? Do I have to walk through the main... Can we get rid of his dinghy? I feel like we should definitely get rid of his dinghy, right? Yeah, we're gonna have to go through here. Okay, now we're out here. The boat should be down these stairs. I still feel like leaving him here on his own is a terrible idea.
The skiff is swaying on the waves by the dock.
Let's return to the mainland.
Let's. We are done here.
He says, adjusting his glasses as he looks out over the water.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet. But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you. 2 men and a woman stand on the concrete square of a nameless village, looking at a small yellow boat as it draws closer. The sea is calm. You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Okay, before we continue, I think this is a good place for me to end this episode, otherwise it's going to go on long. So thank you all very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated. Thank you again to the members of the channel. It really does help, and it means the world to me. As always, I'll see you next time.